And so it's an opportunity for the church to say, all right, how are we going to be, alive and vital and effective in the church today in helping people grow in their spirituality? The deep hunger I see is a sense of community, connection, trying to find commonalities with one another that can bring us together, that can say, hey, I'm like that. Hey, yeah, I've experienced that. And I think we're looking for that, but sometimes we don't always know how to look for that. And what we end up is being more divisive. But that's what I think we're struggling for, is for somebody that has experiences like us that we can connect with, that we can feel some commonality with. I'm seeing it in what I am learning more and more about in the fresh expression movement that we have. And particularly for me, it's through the United Methodist Church, but I know we're not the only ones doing fresh expressions. But when I've seen it, and that is being the church differently, going outside of the church walls, and you're not having to sit in a pew at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning and having all of the things that have to happen there, dressing in your Sunday best or whatever. But hearing about churches that happen. One of my good friends, her church that she's the pastor of, and they consist of Sips and Sighs on Friday night, where they gather at the end of the week. They go hiking on Sundays, and they gather around the campfire. I mean, that's their church, and they're doing something different, and they're again building the community back at what I said, what we're looking for. And they're doing that differently. And that, I think, is a sense of hope, that we are learning that living our faith, expressing our spirituality, doesn't have to be done in the same old way. And we can find maybe some real, some depth to it when we look at doing it differently. And I think that's what God has called us to do at this time. I think back to John Wesley, and I use him as a guide because he did church differently than what was being done in that time. He was radical on his views of social justice and issues like just in accepting women to be able to be preachers. He, some of those kinds of things, preaching out in the open. And so I say, okay, he was wanting to do something different, and if he was here now, he would be one of the ones that was doing something different. And then I think back to one of my professors in undergrad. Her name was Susan Carmichael, and she was a Christian education professor, and she specifically taught us how activities, projects, ways that we can express our faith, and what was current for her. So I was blessed. I was like one of the last people that had her. She was already in her, I think, early 80s with us, and we were the last classes. So she was teaching some ancient ways of, like, now there was no way we would do it, but it was very current for her when she began doing those kinds of things. And I think that if she were still with us, she would also want us to be finding ways that can connect the here and now and what we are living in now with the ancient God that that's been with us forever. And I look at that, and those would be two people that I draw strength from and how I can move forward.